that is. Yeah.
iPod.
That shape.
It's an iPod.
It's a Tommy gun. It's a
Well,
Tommy gun. It's a
Most musicians would identify it as possibly an alto sax case, maybe.
Well, maybe, yeah. I used to play the alto sax.
It's a golf bag for a midget.
Yeah, but it's not quite an.
No,
Well, it's
no, the alto horn. Yeah, you know,
it's sort of a saxophone, but it's its own thing. It's called a Saxaboom.
Oh, right. Would you look at that?
And
Saxaboom.
it takes years. Okay. It takes years to master, but I managed to do it in about 5 minutes. So.
It looks like it's giving us all the finger.
Yeah, it's as
Or
rare.
something.
Well, you know,
Don't put your mouth on that thing, man. It came out in the early '90s, I think, but they're no longer. But it's as rare as a Stradivarius. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But
and
anyway, so I'm just gonna give it a
you need to
sampling.
tune up first, and maybe go to another room and do that for a while.
This is the comedy part of the show. We've had the drama.
Judy, I'm so
now it's
sorry.
the comedy.
Thank you.
Oh,
Fuck
we're-
no.
Megan and I are.
Yeah.
Megan and I
Oh,
are falling
It's triple
down on
X-rated
our,
at this point.
I love the moves.
Yeah, you say that the music's too loud and it's bothering you? Alright, I'll turn it down.
There you are.
Show us in front of the mirror to that.
It takes a. It's,
Where's
yeah.
Rod?
So
Can we get Rod back?
you've got to be able to do some sort of pipe tune on that thing.
I would like raspberry beret.
No, I was working
That'd be
on
cool.
That would be good.
Scotland the Brave and the what's the other one?
Oh, Lang Syne.
You take the Highland.
Loch Lomond.
Loch Lomond, right.
No, I just.
I'll be in Scotland for ye.
You
Me
know
and my true love will never be
Dougie, is that the end of your act?
the bonny, bonny banks.
I would encourage you.
It's got a mind of its own.
I got my grandson a guitar for Christmas. and
Was it also play school?
You can tune it or you can
That thing is
It's
hysterical.
like a
play it. You can actually play it. So,
Very good,
or
Dougie.
Thank you.
play music for
yeah.
Thank you, Doug.
it.
So I'll tell my
He liked the father liked
Jokes,
it better than
jokes.
the
Jokes.
grandson.
Jokes.
I've told this one before, but I'll tell it again.
Well, tell me that I've forgotten it.
Yeah. So Mary is over in Edinburgh, American tourist on her own, and she's looking for a little excitement, a little fun. So she goes into one of the local pubs, and she's bellies up to the bar to get a drink, and she looks down at the end of the bar, and there she sees Angus all kitted up in his kilt and sporn and Balmoral cap, and she's just smitten. She's, if I could only meet this fellow. So time goes on, and they ring the bell. It's the last hour of the the thing, and then all of a sudden it's over, and people start to file out. So Angus gets out and he's had one too many, and he starts to make his way home, and he stops to take a rest under an elm tree, and he sits down and he passes out. And along comes Mary on her way back to the hotel, and she sees Angus sitting there in his kilt. She says, I have to see if it's true. I have to find out if it's true. So she walks over and she gingerly picks up his kilt, and she's like, oh my God, it's true. It's so. And she opens her purse, and she happens to have a length of blue ribbon, which she takes out, and she crafts a fine bow around his bonnie Johnny, and he puts the kilt back. His bonnie Johnny.
His Todger.
Yeah. And in the morning, Angus wakes up and he feels something a little scratchy under the kilt that's never been there before, and he picks it up and he says, hey, I don't know where you've been, but you won first prize.
Dougie, get back there.
Oh, there's more, huh?
How about the time Bridget won the...
Oh, yeah.
Won the
well, that's in
lottery.
Ireland, right?
That's
yeah.
one of mine. Go ahead.
That's
So,
great.
so Bridget's been playing the, well, they used to call it the sweepstakes. Now they call it the lotto in Ireland, but anyways, it was
$50
back.
tickets, Massachusetts.
It was, yeah. It was years ago, and so it was the Irish sweeps. And she's looking in the Irish Times one day, and she sees all of a sudden the number she's been playing for 35 years has come up, and she can't believe it. She's so excited, so she gets on the phone and she calls her friend up. She says, Bridie, it's Bridget. You wouldn't believe this, but I won the sweeps. And Bridget says, oh, Bridie says, isn't that grand? What are you going to do with all that money? And Bridget says, all me life, I've been wanting to take a milk bath. She says, well, I think you can afford it now. So she hangs up with Bridie and she calls up the milkman and she says, would you mind coming over to me cottage? So he gets in his truck and he rolls over and he knocks on the door, and she says, comes to the door and he says, hi Mom, what can I do for you? She says, you know I won the sweeps. She says, isn't that grand? She says, all me life I've been wanting to take a milk bath. Would you mind going upstairs and filling up me tub? He says, not at all. Would you like it pasteurized? She says, no, just up to me tits would be grand.
Bada boom.
So Sean's at the pub and he's been drinking all day. It's a Sunday and he's had way too much to drink, and he gets in his car and he starts to drive down the lane, and all of a sudden he's weaving around and he looks in his rearview mirror and he sees a flashing blue light. It's the Garda. So he pulls over. Of course they know him. Everybody knows each other there. So the policeman comes up to him and Sean rolls down the window and the policeman says, Sean, do you know your wife fell out of the car 3 miles back? He says, oh, thank God. I thought it was going deaf.
Are we in the Poconos? It's like we're going the Borscht Belt here.
Should have stopped with Bridie.
So these two brothers.
Save it, Doug, save it.
Yeah, gotta save it with this one.
Okay.
All right, these two brothers are recently unemployed, and they have a they have a problem. They both have, I think the technical term is cleft palate. You know, they have a problem with the speech and so forth. So they they go in to see the adjuster and
The adjuster?
well, the not the insurance
Surgeon.
adjuster, the what would you call it?
Plastic surgeon.
No, to see how much money they're going to get from
Adjuster.
from unemployment, from the employment. Yeah.
Oh,
unemployment.
okay, got it.
The adjuster.
So the
The
first
adjuster.
So the first brother goes in, and the agent says to him, "Tell me, what do you do for work?" He said, "I'm a diesel man." He says, I'm sorry, sir, I don't know what you said. What do you do again for work? I can diesel fanning. He said, just one more time. What do you do for work? I can diesel fanner. Oh, diesel fanner. Yeah, that's right. So he says, oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't quite get that. So he says, well, that's a very skilled position. You'll get $250. So he went, oh, thank you. And he walks out. He's very happy. Now his brother goes in, and he sits down with the same guy. And the fellow says, tell me, what do you do for work? He said, I sew the crotches in women's panties. You what? I said I sew the crotches in women's panties. He says, well, I'm sorry, but that's not a very skilled position. I can only give you $125. Now he's really upset because he knows his brother came in and got twice as much. He said, $125? my brother here, you gave him $250. I said, yeah, but your brother's a diesel fitter. He's not a diesel fitter. He said, I sew the crotches in the women's panty. He puts them on over his head and said, yeah, diesel fitter, diesel fitter. All right, enough of that.
All right. There you go. That's a mic drop moment. Good job. Good job.